Remember the three different forms of linear equations. We've got slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. It's got the slope and the y-intercept. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. The point-slope form, because it's got a point, x1, y1. And it's got the slope, m. And the standard form, ax plus by equals c, where a must be a whole number. So a horizontal line has a specific type of equation. Horizontal lines, there are no x variables in the equation, so y equals a number. And the slope of horizontal line is 0, always. A vertical line has a specific type of equation. There's no y in the equation, so x equals a number. And the slope of a vertical line is always undefined. And here's something interesting, and that's vertical and horizontal lines are perpendicular to each other. So for number 1, we're going to write an equation of a line with slope -2 and y-intercept of 0, 3/4. Write the equation using function notation. So that's our goal, function notation, f of x equals mx plus b. And, well, we have to build an equation first. We're given a slope, so m equals -2, and we're given a y-intercept, so actually b equals 3/4, because y-intercept is always 0, b. So we can go straight to the slope-intercept form. We know the slope is -2, and we know that the y-intercept is 3/4, so we put those into the equation. And then we just need to change y to f of x because this is a function. It's a negative sloping line. And so that's going to be our equation of a line in function notation. They're not all going to be that easy, of course. So number 2, write an equation of a line through these 2 points and write it using function notation. So again, we're going to be looking for that function notation as our final answer. And this time we start with 2 points, and that's not a whole lot of information. So the first thing that we're going to need is a slope. You always need a slope to build an equation of a line. And in this case, I could just label this point 1 and point 2. That way I can use the formula for slope, which is the difference of the y over the difference of the x. And that's how we get rise or vertical change over run, which is the horizontal change. So let's go ahead and put those points in. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And the order of your points don't matter as long as your point lines up vertically. You know you have a correct formula for finding slope here. So in the numerator 4, in the denominator that's going to be -5, and that doesn't simplify. So our slope is a -4/5. I'll just put the negative in front. It doesn't matter. So I have a slope and I have 2 points. Neither of these points are y-intercepts because x is not 0, right? So no y-intercepts. But I'm just going to choose a point, let's say the first one, and I'm going to do point slope form. So that'll be this formula here. And I'm just going to plug in the point, x1, y1, and the slope, -4/5. So y1 is 0, the slope is -4/5, and x1 is 3. So then I want to simplify what I have here. So y minus 0 is just y. Now I need to distribute this -4/5. So -4/5 times x, and -4/5 times -3 is going to be positive 12 over 5. Doesn't simplify. But I don't care. I just need to get this into the function notation because this is a negative sloping line. It is a function, and that will complete my answer to the question. I know my 5s look like S's, sorry. For number 3, write an equation of a horizontal line containing the point -1, 6. Use function notation. So again, we're going to be looking for that function notation. But this time, we're given a point, and where's the slope? I need a slope, right? What does it say? It's a horizontal line. What do we know about the slope of a horizontal line? always 0. Okay, so I've got a slope and I've got a point. Let me just go ahead and put that into the point slope form. And if you want, you can identify that this is x1, y1 for labeling purposes here. So y minus 6 equals 0 times x minus -1. Well, on the right side, when you distribute a 0, that's going to be 0 plus 0, even if you change that to plus 1 first. It's still 0 plus 0, which is 0. So we see that in this equation, x has been zeroed out. There's no x variable. We know it's a horizontal line. That makes perfect sense. We just want this to say y equals. So let's opposite that number term from both sides so that y equals 6. And then we can change this to our goal, which is function notation. Horizontal line is a function. Y is a function of x. So f of x equals 6 is perfectly fine. If you do want to mention that x has been zeroed out, then that's also fine. That's okay. I'm not sure if the homework program cares which way you put it, but I certainly don't care, as long as that's 0, meaning there is no x in this equation.